The right very next scene, hey, sorry, I'm a fan, okay. Hey, it's okay, don't do it again. That is not the case. You had coconuts flying at your face. While I am a little surprised with him actually loving the film, I am not totally surprised. I'm not like, why are you not that? Because
the second half is basically Annamalai altogether, okay? Between how he wants his hero to be a Koratala Shiva hero and a Puri Jagannath hero. He's somewhere in between.
the angle starts off with the actor throwing coconuts at the heroine, right? Where do we see a story? Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya, and we just completed watching the latest Telugu film Andhra King Taluka. And the movie stars Ram Pothineni, Upendra, Bhagyashri Borse, Rao Ramesh, and various other important cast and crew members. And the movie is directed by Mahesh Babu P. Before getting into further details, this review is going to be a little different. This time, we have extremely contrasting opinions. I enjoyed the film, though it is not a perfect film. Emotionally, cinematic wise, I really enjoyed the film.
I did not enjoy the film. I wouldn't say this is a bad film, especially after watching, Ram Pothineni in Double Smart and Skanda. This was a really good film.
Hey, The Warrior.
I wasn't very engaged. It was not the best time for me at the theaters. And also, let me give you a glimpse into what has happened. We've tried to record this twice already. We somehow just start ranting, so we are just going to keep it like
we
this.
had a mini fan war here about this. So we've decided, let's continue our discussions in the comment section below. But the review structure would be, I will tell what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and then Sanjay is going to tell what worked for him and what didn't work for him. And overall, if we have some points to add on each other's review, that will be the next part of it. But before that, if you already completed watching the film, we already gave our basic review. I liked it, he didn't like it. What is yours? Mention that in the comments below. And if you want to add anything to the points that we are mentioning, please use the comment section below. What worked for me in the film? The core, the crux, the strength and backbone of the film is emotion and emotional connect. I think director Mahesh Babu P has done a brilliant job in catching that emotion of what it takes to be a fan. Again, not everybody, not every type of fan is being addressed here. And also there is some amount of extremity that we usually see in fans, because of which all fans of certain heroes fall into bad light. So in a way, it is a safe space which director went. How you respond, how is it is individual. But the core emotion of what you feel, how you feel admired when you watch an actor, I think that is where the core emotion point that the director has beautifully captured. Because I'll give you an example of one scene. There is a beautiful conversation between Bhagyashri Borse's character Mahalakshmi and Sagar. When Mahalakshmi asks him what is this admiration, what is it? He tells about how when he was young, Surya in the film, who's the superstar, he used to come, perform and go and again change the dress. That's how cinema is, right? And how he used to feel, my actor is going and changing so many dresses and doing so many things. So I think I also felt that when I was young. Once I actually went and saw our actors behind. So that is a very core emotion that I heard from a lot of people. So these kind of things, it's not surface level. The deep thoughts of emotions were actually caught and beautifully portrayed onto the big screen, because of which the emotional connect of the movie is really high. Second thing that worked is, especially after watching the trailer, the premise of the movie is different. How it starts, what is the relationship between Sagar and Surya, and how things unravel, and how the movie gets into the whole Swadesh mode. It is unlike what the trailer has promised, though there are some problems with the predictability and how they have taken, or the way the scene was conceived. But overall, I really liked the concepts, the ideas, and some amount of metaphorical storytelling using the Lanka setup, the character, the backstory given to Ram Pothineni's character, the problem given to him, and the backstory of why Surya became this big deal for him, the way they use it in the interval block. So these kind of choices and points that were taken and beautifully executed is another thing that really worked for me. Third thing is performances. Again, before getting into Ram Pothineni, I just feel like I can just sit and watch Upendra on screen. Man, I feel he has some serious presence. There's this one scene where he is having a conversation with another producer. It comes in the initial portions of the film. I don't want to spoil. It's just, he has shown the discomfort of being a star, but also being vulnerable in just, man, he was really, really good. I wish he got more, but even though the story is not about him, it was an extended cameo. But I wish, again, like I told, personal, I wanted to see him more. Bhagyashri Borse was also really, really good. After Kanta, I am telling you, I think we should use her more for performance-oriented roles, because she has potential. Even though I didn't like the way the love track went towards the climax, the initial portions, the chemistry really worked. Star of the day, Sagar, Andhra King, the OG Andhra King, Ram Pothineni. His performance is really good. I recently wrote a piece about how this is his comfort zone, strong zone, unlike the Warrior, the Skanda, the action piece. Not that he shouldn't try that, but I feel this is a strength and he played for his strength. The emotions work, fight work, dance, energy, everything. Performances were really, really good.
Okay, so since he spoke about whatever worked for him, and I can take pieces out of it, I will address it next. First, I will start with what didn't work for me because that is yet to be addressed by you. Let's do that. The story of the film is somewhat of our superstar figuring out what the story of Sagar is. Right, we start off from there. Then comes one perspective and then comes another perspective. When you look at it on a whole, the screenplay pattern that they've chosen seems really interesting. But then when they get into it, it feels like the pattern, the structuring, and everything else is good, but then the main matter is kinda, not heavy enough to have that impact. What I really felt was disengaging in the film, apart from the bad, technicalities, because the CG and whatever
VFX.
green screen work, VFX works they've done throughout the film was very underwhelming, so much to the point where I felt like the makers have already given up on the product. It felt like no effort was put into that. Well, one thing that I expected this to be a lot more, good drama between the fan and the star. I'm not particularly saying it has to be something, of opposite natures like we saw in Shah Rukh Khan's Fan. It could be of supporting nature itself, which was the case to an extent, but it felt like it was a very minor part of everything they were going for. The fan is an integral part, but the action he's taking is all over the place because it starts with the romance and that leading to him wanting prosperity, from that leading to him wanting to represent his whole community, from that leading to a lot of other things, which was quite chaotic also. I felt like you said that there was direction. I actually felt the opposite. I felt like there was no direction. There was a lot of things happening. It felt like a big khichdi, which didn't really completely pay off. The romantic angle in the film was an absolute bummer for me. Not just the climax, the whole track, except for cute little moments in between where emotions were catered, credit where credit is due. The performances were really good, the chemistry built was good, but the whole relationship for me didn't make a lot of sense. I'll tell you why. The angle starts off with the actor throwing coconuts at the heroine, right? Where do we see a story
At the
like
glass.
this? At the glass,
To see
the
her.
first coconut. The next four,
To see her
Yeah.
at the glass.
do not justify it.
I am not justifying,
Okay.
I am just
So
explaining.
it starts off like this, right? And she also gets injured. When something like this happens, where do you typically see this in? If the romance is being portrayed as something very, toxic under the guise of intense. But this was not the case here. The romance, the shade it was showing was very pleasant. From the first action, which was that, I expected a little bit of opposition before they got together. Something had to be there where, an angry moment gets boiled down and then the nice emotions are out. No. The very next scene, hey, sorry, I'm a fan, okay. Hey, it's okay, don't do it again. That is not the case. You had coconuts flying at your face. I mean, I would feel bad if Bhagyashri Borse's face got spoiled.
Okay.
Wouldn't you? The melodrama is something that I didn't really appreciate. Yes, you said that is emotions, and if you are connected with the emotions, you might not feel it like that. But for me, for someone who's sitting there who's just craving for a good story, good drama, I felt like in wanting to convey emotions in a very powerful way, it became very melodramatic with the extra sounds and the hyperbole of emotions being shown, and then the camera just being placed there for more than what it should be and not moving on to the next one. Overall, this film is more about the relatability. See, here I will acknowledge the fact that if you relate to the story, it might have that impact. While I am a little surprised with him actually loving the film, I am not totally surprised. I'm not like, why are you not that? Because I understand why one would relate to the film and why one would enjoy it. Because there's multiple opinions for a film all the time. Personally, I feel like this fan that the film is talking about, the biopic, is of a certain kind of a fan. And it is not of all kinds of fans. There's so many different. There are people who just go crazy, throw the papers, crackers, celebrate all of that. There are people who don't even watch the film at the first time of watch. They're just standing and whistling and dancing, don't even know what the story is. There are people who just wait for a long time just to sit there in the seat, look at their favorite star, just admire whatever is happening. There's fans like that too. So when there are so many different kinds of fan, I feel like this biopic was of only a particular kind of fan, and that too became unrelatable.
Now getting to the things that didn't work for me. Some choices in the film actually didn't work for me. Though he had a problem with the introduction of the love track, I actually have the problem with the way the love track was handled in the pre-climatic and climatic portions. I understood what the director was aiming at or what he wanted to go in terms of the emotion. But is that the only way that you can go to it is the question. So again, this movie is not something especially for me where the writing is bad, because I see the idea, I see the metaphorical understanding starting from world building. Again, this is not a movie about world building, but starting from the Lanka that they have chosen, the setup that they have chosen, Rao Ramesh's job, what is his job, how it will come together in the film, all of this, the problem that Ram Pothineni's character has and how it will play a role in the interval. So there are beautiful moments where you see good choices and where he's fighting and where he's not fighting. That is also a brilliant move, because the director wanted to go with the emotion, he stick to it. If the fight scene is not adding up, he's not putting it. At least for me, that's how I felt. So somebody who's taking care of so much, these kind of choices didn't make sense to me. So that didn't work for me. And second thing which didn't work for me is, again, predictability and also transition. The second half is basically Annamalai altogether, okay? If you do it in a different way, it will work. I feel the whole Annamalai angle in the second half, it was working, but it felt like it is nothing new. And the reason why I felt that way is because everything is so easy for the character. Yeah, the stakes are high. He wants to do this, he wants to do that. It is ego tussle. And actually, he's bringing his whole village together. And if things work, if he actually puts in effort, and usually a lot of people, like my father also, when I talk about cinema, how obsessed I am about films, the constant dialogue that we get is come out of cinema and see the real world. You will see actually what the struggle is. So exactly when the transition happens after interval point, I thought Ram Pothineni's character and everybody around him will actually go through struggle, understand the purpose of life, and then change. I don't have problem with him growing or anything, but the struggle was missing. I was emotionally connected with whatever was happening, but I couldn't feel the punch because I genuinely felt like more of struggle. Again, it might come out as melodrama, but I felt everything came too easily for him. The characterization of hero, right? It's not a problem per se, but I think in a way the director lost balance between how he wants his hero to be a Koratala Shiva hero and a Puri Jagannath hero. He's somewhere in between. It is not smooth transition is what I felt.
Talking about what worked for me in the film, there were moments in between, like what he has mentioned, right? So there are emotions in between which are conveyed nicely, and it gets conveyed even more in a better way because there are little breadcrumbs laid in between before that also. So it kind of says that there was some attention given to the characterizations of all the important characters, what kind of job they are doing, what are the stakes in their life, what is happening there. All of that kind of makes it feel good. Similarly, the performances in the film actually helps the story a lot in my opinion, because unlike what you said where the writing is good, I feel like the performances were good, which made the writing seem okay, but for me the writing wasn't, it was just the performance that was pulling the story. Ram Pothineni, Bhagyashri Borse and the chemistry between them actually does work, especially when it is, accepted that it is happening over there. There are moments in the film where, for example, they're just lying on the beach before the bad transition to a sad song. When they're just lying on the beach, it felt so nice. Similarly, the father and the son and their struggle. The little kid who also did a real job with the small scene that he did a good job. So the film has good parts spread across, in my opinion, where even I felt like, this is good. But for me, What was disengaging is that immediately it moves to a not so engaging point. Credit where credit is due. In between, there were those moments which actually does convey emotions. If you're, relating to the story, maybe those emotions is going to carry you through the film. If not, it will not.
About the fans part that you've mentioned, right? I feel the trailer actually, in a way, communicated what the film. See what the purpose of a trailer we keep telling, right? To set the pitch, tone, character, and what it is going to be. So it is clear that a fan who is going to any extent to do whatever he thinks he should do for his hero is what is established in the trailer. So I think that is how my expectations are also set when I went into the movie. But again, I think the trailer set the pitch and tone of the film, and I think it majorly worked. It being a certain kind of a fan story, it worked for me.
If we continue speaking on camera, it's just going to go long. So this is where we will wrap things up. This was our review of the film Andhra King Taluka. Which side are you on? Mention that in the comments below. Or if you have a third side, mention that also in the comments below. All of that is absolutely welcome. With that, I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya.
You're watching India Today.